Hi there, I'm Lenny, and in this video I'm going to discuss the film Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which was released in 1991. It's rated PG and has the runtime of 1 hour and 34 minutes. This is the sequel to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And sometime this month, maybe, sometime this year, maybe, we are going to get the third part of this now trilogy, Bill and Ted Face the Music. I've already reviewed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I will include the link to that video at the very end of this video. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey stars Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, George Carlin, William Sadler. Side note, Pam Grier is in this movie. Pam Foxy Brown Grier is in this movie. Movie opens up in the year 2691, and we see this weird shadow organization. They're holding a meeting, and the main guy, who we don't know his name yet, but I'll tell you in advance, his name is De Nomolas. For some reason, this organization doesn't seem to like peace, harmony, no starvation, no wars. They have an issue with that, which means I have an issue with them. But it doesn't make sense. The goal of De Nomolas and this organization that he has put together is ruin Bill and Ted in the past so that their influence will not be felt in the future, which is their present. Cut to the next scene. We're still in San Dimas, California. The year is still 2691. We are now at Bill and Ted University, and the future is brilliant. Sunny, vibrant colors, harmony among all races and creeds, and Rufus is a teacher. The phone booth time machine that was used in the first film is back, and what Rufus does is when he teaches the class, he'll bring people from certain time periods to the class, like Ben Franklin. Pick him up in the phone booth, bring him to the class, and then that person can interact with the students and talk about their life. During the middle of this class, De Nomolos comes in with his cronies, and they take over this class. And this is where the evil henchman, De Nomolos, just the name alone says henchman, De Nomolos. Get me a table for one, for De Nomolos. His plan is he is going to steal the time machine. He's going to steal the phone booth and send two individuals back to the past to ruin Bill and Ted's lives. Actually, to kill Bill and Ted and to take over their lives and ruin it even further. But how can you do that? How can you take over somebody else's life? I mean, you would realize that somebody isn't them. He has created evil robot versions of Bill and Ted. And these evil robot versions are going to go back to the past, kill the real Bill and Ted, and further mess up their lives so that the harmony, the world peace, the music that's going to change the world is never created. What a dick. De Nomolos sends evil Bill and Ted robots back in the phone booth time machine back to present day. And before the time machine can disappear, Rufus catches a ride on it. He jumps onto the time machine, and he is going to go back and try to help out Bill and Ted as best he can. We go to present day, and we see the Wild Stallions trying to prepare for the 4th annual Battle of the Bands. So within Wild Stallions, we have Bill and Ted, of course, but we also have the fair princesses who were rescued within the first film. We have Joanna and Elizabeth who are in the band and who can actually play their instruments now. But, surprise, surprise, Bill and Ted still can't play guitar, and they still can't sing. And as they prep for this Battle of the Band, this is where Miss Wardrobe informs them that you guys really suck, and I shouldn't put you in this contest because you're probably not going to win. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to give you the very last spot. Bill and Ted are a little worried about this because they want to provide a great life for Joanna and Elizabeth. They want to propose to their ladies. And they know that their music is supposed to save the future. Their music is supposed to save the world. How can it do that if you can't even win a Battle of the Bands? How do you do that if you still can't play your instrument? Meanwhile, we see the evil Bill and Ted robots land within the telephone booth time machine, and they land at the Circle K. Because you have to remember, strange things are afoot at the Circle K. De Nomolos informs Evil Bill and Ted that Rufus jumped onto the time machine and to see if he's around, and he's not, which means he got lost in the strands of time. Let's go back to some good news though, shall we? Bill and Ted propose to their ladies. Joanna and Elizabeth both say yes. So things are looking good. Shortly after the ladies go home though, and Bill and Ted are at their apartment that they share together, there's a knock on the door, and it's Evil Bill and Ted. Evil Bill and Ted have taken Good Bill and Ted to the desert. After marching them up a mountain and pushing them off, our Good Bill and Ted are dead. They actually die. For realsies. Good Bill and Ted wake up next to their bodies, and now they are spirits because they are officially dead, and there to collect them is the Grim Reaper. But they decide to run away from the Grim Reaper. They are going to go try and find help because they need to warn the ladies. They need to warn their fiancé that they're dead and there's bad dudes about. As the Good Bill and Ted try to do this, they are involved in a seance that goes astray because they are sent to hell. And within hell, they meet the devil. And the devil is not as cool as they were hoping that he would be. But now Bill and Ted are trapped in their own personal versions of hell. And there's only one way that they can escape, and one way and one chance that they can get back to their lives. They have to challenge the Grim Reaper to a contest. And they have to beat the Grim Reaper at said contest. If they don't, they will spend all of eternity in their own private version of hell. We learn that the Grim Reaper who never loses is a sore loser, and after losing at the very first contest, which Bill and Ted pick to play against the Grim Reaper, which is Battleship. You have sunk my battleship. So he then challenges Bill and Ted to a game of Clue, which he loses. He also challenges them to an old electronic game of football. He then challenges them to a game of Twister and also loses, and finally accepts defeat. So with Bill and Ted defeating the Grim Reaper, he is at their command to do whatever they ask him to do. And they ask to go up to heaven because they need to speak to God, because they need help fighting off these evil dudes. They ask God to point them in the right direction of the most brilliant mind in the universe. This is where we're introduced to two lovable alien creatures named Station. If Station could help them by designing good robot versions of themselves to fight against the bad robot versions of themselves. And Station agrees and goes along on the ride and on the journey with them and Death back to the present. Evil Bill and Ted are creating havoc. They purposely act like jerks to Joanna and Elizabeth and also kick them out of Wild Stallions. In return, the ladies break off the proposal to the guy. Once our homemade good robot versions of Bill and Ted are made, our gang has to head to the Battle of the Bands because that is currently where evil Bill and Ted are. Good robot versions of Bill and Ted, which are able to defeat the bad versions of evil Bill and Ted robots. Nomolos is far from being done yet. He travels within the telephone booth to that moment in time of the Battle in the Bands. Bill and Ted conquer and cage De Nomolos and win. But they still have to play. They take the telephone booth and they travel. They have taken a 16-month intensive music training course. And during that time, they have married Joanna and Elizabeth, and they each have a baby, Little Bill and Little Ted. Wild Stallions is now a full-formed group with Mr. Death Grim Reaper playing on bass, lovable alien Station separating himself and playing two bongos, and the good versions of Robot Bill and Ted are the backup dancers. And now, with Bill and Ted trained themselves on the guitar and being able to sing, Wild Stallions is seen all throughout the world on television. And from that very moment forward, Wild Stallions change history for the better. But there's one more loose end to tie up. Where the hell is Rufus? What happened to Rufus? Well, it seems that Rufus has been there the whole time. Rufus was disguised as Miss Wardrobe. And that is the end of our movie. Rating Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 6. It's not a horrible movie by any means, but it's not as much fun as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. There's something missing there, and I think it's actually the fun and excitement of watching them go back to each different time period and interacting with these historical figures. We have now reached the interactive part of the video. If you think the video is worthy of a thumbs up, please feel free to do so. And if you enjoyed the video and you want to see others like it, all you have to do is hit the YouTube logo, which is going to be down in the corner, and you'll get a notification anytime a new video is uploaded to the channel. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about these things I'm passionate about. Greatly appreciate that. Please be safe, be careful, and I'll talk to you soon.